I remember watching an interview of Tim Cook where he was quoting his experience about his MBA course study, where he was asked to write a 25-year career development plan of himself. Coincidentally, he says that he completed 25 years on the day that he was giving an interview as such. So imagine a situation where you've been asked to write a 10-year or maybe a 15-year career development plan. What would be your response and how would you take it from here? So the topic of today is career development planning, and we will explore in detail with examples and understanding more about why it is important that I start the planning at the right stage, and then I move on to certain retirement plans as well, even before getting on to the career stages. So moving on to understand this topic further, let's understand the course overview. Career development planning, we would like to introduce the topic and have a working definition as such for your better sake. And moving on, there are stages, there are different types of careers, impact of technology, like technology has taken over us in every aspect in its era of technology. So let's understand and link and coincide technology with career development planning. Moving on, giving career and organic growth, this is something very important that I like to discuss further. Organizational needs for career growth, mentoring is an effective tool. Mentoring is the need of the hour in every organization setup that we go through and every stage of a career as such. Either you be a mentor or you be part of the mentoring process, or you are a mentee, a stage in your life. Moving on, downsizing and layoffs. Managing workforce diversity, succession planning, career in global environment, and retirement planning with the conclusion as such. Most important thing to understand, before we actually move on, in case you have not got an opportunity to watch our workforce diversity video tutorial, we recommend you to do that in order to stay connected with this topic better. Introduction, simple. I mean, what do you see in this pictorial form that we have presented here? You see a lot of planning which is happening. You see a lot of, paperwork and everything that, you need in order to actually jot down and start and begin with it. So career development planning starts on the day that you actually apply for a job role, you apply for a certain organization to take up the interview process. It isn't about 5 years or 6 years after the experience of that particular job role or with the organization is where you actually think and decide maybe these 6 years were regrettable and this didn't really add on a value to my experience, or probably it cannot help me to go forward in my future. So many instances in life, that includes me as well, if I have to give you a quite standing example and a first-hand experience example. After certain job role that you kickstart your career, and there comes a phase in life where you have the self-calling and desire that this is not what you meant for, and you have something very different. So if I have to quote my example, I started my career with a typical call center environment, and I was very clear that I was doing what I was wanting for, and I was really looking forward to take up growth patterns or stages of moment of my career development in the same industry. But there was a time, maybe because certain experiences that you undergo, not good, not bad, or maybe you're impressed with certain experiences. So in my stage where I was quite impressed and intrigued with the learning and development team of certain organization that I was put to, and I was quite impressed with the set of skill sets the people carried there, and that's about it. I had a calling that I wanted always to be part of training team, and there was certain inner calling that always brought me closest to teaching, because teaching was always close to my heart. So go back, analyze, think about it, even though you're in day one of your joining the job role when you're watching this video tutorial, or probably your 10th year of your career that you're while you're watching this video tutorial. Have a self-talk, decide and analyze where do you see yourself, maybe 5 years or 6 years, and what satisfies you at a job responsibility that you are been catering to, or maybe a satisfying experience after certain small job roles that you have done at workplace, or maybe personally at your home as such. Analyze, think about it, and then move on for your career development planning. Moving on to understand stages, well, there are certainly stages of career development planning. Stages could be as simple as that, you are at self-analysis stage where you analyze your skill sets, where you analyze your strengths, your weaknesses. A simple SWOT analysis would help you here. So your strengths, just draw 4 columns on a sheet of paper and write your strengths, your weaknesses, your threats and your opportunities. It could be as vague or as varied as possible. Threat could be each time I see a new person joining my team, or probably in my neighbor community, I have the threat that probably this person would outperform me. It could be as simple as that threat. Do mention and analyze these 4 sections and see where do you actually link with your own personal desire. Is operations your personal desire? Is training and development your personal desire? Or maybe connecting with people your personal desire? Analyze and link with the SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis. Maybe you can browse through a little more information to get it, or maybe in the consecutive videos you will be able to see what SWOT analysis is all about. Moving on, different types of careers. There are certainly different types of careers, never to forget. There could be careers as simple as that, while you join the organization and you want to move on, through an internal job posting, while you join a different organization and you want to take a total different route and total different pattern. Maybe you would like to join an organization because only part of the present job role links with the actual job role of the new organization that you're looking out for. So analyze, have that goal setting in the process, research, network, connect, and get to a stage where you want to move ahead, where you're heading towards. Moving on, impact of technology. Never to forget the fact that technology has been in place, will be in place, and is already in the place. So it's an era of technology. People tend to forget during the career development planning that they are making. They tend to forget that technology has to be adaptive. You need to be accommodative of the fact that maybe 10-year plan that I design, or 5-year plan that I have in my place, what if I do not analyze where the technology is heading. Cloud computing, for an example, is something, if I have to really quote this as an example, big data, cloud computing is the in thing. So if you have a desire in moving into a certain industry or certain job role, link with this technology element and see how soon the growth pattern can start, or how stagnated would you feel only because you might not be adaptive for this technology, or maybe you have to in person join or learn the course and then master towards the present job role as such. This is very, very imperative. Unless until you decide where technology is heading and where you're linking with technology, you will not be able to have that tangible, accurate career development plan. Likewise, if I have to share my own personal example, though I am into interpersonal skills, which is connecting with people, training people, and teaching certain crowd and certain organization setup, I have to certainly link this with technology era as as the need be. Simple reason, because even language learning is widely connected with technology these days. It isn't about having a typical classroom session or classroom desire and moving on to understand that the learning has been taken place, the learning has been accepted as such. Moving to next slide, giving career and organic growth. Organic, I mean, what does the word organic mean? Something which happens naturally. If you think that you join an organization, you are at a certain job role and the immediate promotion or immediate elevation is as per the hierarchy, as per the need of the organization. If you believe so, then move on. If not, if you want to actually have a shift towards your career, I see a lot of folks from management background where they actually master in human resource, but for some reason they venture out into finance or they venture out into operations, and suddenly there's a calling which comes in that they want to be part of human resource. They want to be in terms of connecting with people and knowing more about people and be there for the people's role. In that case, they certainly take that shift, and that shift might always not be at the right stage. Maybe it can move on to a stage where it doesn't really matter to them personally, but it certainly impact the professional career growth for them. Moving on, next slide, organizational needs for career growth. Well, organization has certain needs expected from an individual. It could be high performance, it could be high on quality aspect, and it could be something on lines of leadership, motivation, and managerial skills. So every organization, each individual who have been hired under the umbrella, they have something very similar. But as an individual, you need to have a personal desire, you need to have a personal assurance for yourself that I would see myself 2 years from now or maybe 3 years from now at a certain job role, and then link it with the organization's growth. Your career objective has always and must have to be aligned with the vision of the organization. If the vision of the organization is to maybe cater internet services or make life easy for a common person, and you always had this desire to connect with human beings, to connect with people at certain element, to assist them, then this is something you have to really think over and join the organization as such. At an individual level, career planning can certainly keep you focused. It allows you to move to the direction that you want your future to be, and it not only allows you to be there, it also gives you that right path to move on to achieve that goal and the aim that you have as a personal desire. Next slide, mentoring as an effective tool. Well, this is my favorite word of the day, or maybe favorite in managerial or leadership trainings that I conduct of, or maybe to understand people, the growth pattern, the shift pattern in individual. It's purely because of this word, which is mentoring. Either you don the role of to be a mentor, or you are in the process of mentoring, that is you are at the receiving end, which is being a mentee. So simple role, either you give up yourself that I have mastered at a certain skill, and I'd like to help the juniors or the newcomers or new entrants who have joined the organization, or maybe the employers would certainly recognize your efforts, your responsibilities and your dedication, and help you towards that role. It's purely because of mentoring that people have been elevated into certain roles. People such as Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, or maybe people like Bill Gates. So they have all done the role of a mentor and mentee as well. So I guess we all have to flock to the same path to be there, and somewhere we have desired to be there in terms of what they are doing as such. Moving on, downsizing and layoffs. This is one of the element that we have to understand, the fact that every organization goes to this stage. Well, it is not a good stage to even discuss, because it doesn't give you that positivity, it doesn't give you that positive energy as well. But understand, your career development planning can actually lead towards this. It could be like a failure of what you have done as part of your planning stages, or maybe you've over planned and picked up a certain job responsibility, or an organization which was always with this aspect of downsizing and laying off. So understand the facts. 10 years from now, where do you see technology in your own department, or maybe in your own job role? For example, if I have to say supply chain management, how is it progressing in terms of being technologically adaptive, or is it still stagnated as a job role, or do you see advancement in terms of technology that can assist supply chain management? So if you have a desire, and if you've been presently working with the same domain, analyze, understand, and then move on in terms of career planning. Otherwise, there's a stage in life that we all would go through on this, or maybe it is not a pleasant stage to be at. Next slide, managing workforce diversity. Like I already suggested, please do watch our earlier video, which is on workforce diversity, workplace diversity as such, to understand and analyze why it is important to maintain and have certain rules and agenda at an organization level, to follow the fact that it's only through diversity that you can grow together as a team and as an organization. Pick up any classic example, an organization which is doing fairly well in terms of its profit, in terms of its share, in terms of customer services level, is purely because of the diversity that they bring into the table, and together that they work with the organization as such. Moving on, career in a global development environment, which is how globally developed the organization is, and how individually see themselves with regard to that environment, and how employers see the individuals moving on to that development. That equally plays an important role. Moving on to understand the fact that a career can be possible in globally acknowledged places or globally acknowledged areas, but that has to come through your career progression and career planning as such. So let's move on to succession planning, to understand the fact that your career development planning is effective and achievable. It's only because of this stage. If this stage is faltered, or maybe you flaw in this stage, the achievement for career planning isn't possible, and it would certainly be stagnated as such. For further reading on this particular segment of the topic, I recommend you to go through our website and just read through and understand why it is important and why the stage has always been given that due importance as such. Moving on, retirement planning. Well, retirement planning, most important, the day you join an organization, the day you pick up a new role, it is important that you plan where you want to end and how do you want to end, at what stage of your career do you want to end. So retirement certainly needs planning, and it has always been said and recommended that you plan on day one of your joining the organization. Moving on to further dig deeper to this particular topic, there are a lot of organizations who are giving workshops, who are giving that proper understanding to analyze the fact that why retirement plays an important role and how do you plan your retirement stage as such. So maybe you should connect your human resource team as such, or maybe you do a little bit of reading on internet to understand and analyze it. Conclusion. Well, we would like to conclude on a simple lines that career planning is important, with the lot of questions and knowledge that is floating in your head. To make it more tangible, you have to put it in the planning aspect. And we recommend you to visit our website to read through our text tutorial. The only recommendation is go through the work diversity video and then move on to read this text video. So you have to visit our website, that is tutorialspoint.com, www.tutorialspoint.com. Under the section of soft skills library, you see this topic called career development planning. Read through the text, analyze it, and we would really recommend you to drop in a message with regard to whether this video was helpful and what stage of career you are in and how your succession planning is moving on. Thank you.